Welcome back to It's Life Loudly.
Where life is messy, imperfect, and worth sharing.
We're Dalton and Kristen Steichen, and we are excited to share stories and our experiences.
Ones that might inspire, motivate, and hopefully make you laugh.
We are not experts on this thing called life.
We're just here chatting about it.
It's Life
Loudly.
Hey, welcome back. I'm actually flying solo today. I'm just going to do a little mini-sode here. I thought that it would be kind of fun to do. I had talked about doing a book podcast, and I decided that today I'm going to do a what am I watching, reading, and listening to. So I've got some books I'm going to go through, and I've got some podcasts I'm going to go through, and then some TV shows and movies that we've been watching and listening to this summer. Okay, so my joy and hard for the week. My joy is that I thought that I was really going to hate this whole early Memorial Day business just because I thought it threw us for a loop. We went immediately from the last day of school to our Memorial Day camping trip, which just seemed kind of crazy and insane. And I mean, we usually kind of do that, but I don't know. It just seemed it just seemed different. But then this week, now that Memorial Day's over, usually the first full week after school's out, that is our yard prep time. We're getting the pool ready, we're putting up the swings, we're getting the garden ready, all of that yard work that's got to be done, but none of it's really fun to do. Oh yeah. Okay, good night. But the fact that we've gotten all that stuff done, the pool is ready, the kids have already been swimming in it, the garden is ready, things are planted, it's already looking good, and the yard's been mowed and trimmed already a couple times. Swings have been put up. All of the fun, just toys and gadgets and things that we used in the summertime have been out and about. And the fact that that is all done and it's not even June yet just seems kind of crazy that all of that got done. So that's kind of exciting that now that June starts, we don't really have to worry about all that. It's just maintaining it. All of the hard setup, the back work that needs to be done is already done. So that is definitely my joy. My hard is that when it's this nice out, I don't want to come inside. I don't want to come inside. I don't want to cook meals. I don't want to do household things that need to be done. It's 7:00. I've got kids that need to start going to bed, and I need to think about supper. I need to think about I don't want to. I want to be outside, and I want to just enjoy and wing it. That's my least favorite thing in the world is that we have to eat. Golly, every 4 hours we have to think about eating something. And it's just I wish our bodies could just nah, I'll choose to eat when I want to eat. I don't have to eat. I don't have to stop the fun to go eat. But that's just, we've got to start getting better ideas. We're doing shopping lists right now for Costco, Walmart, Thrive, trying to get some foods and snacks that it's we can just grab whenever we want. Trying to find some things that my almost 6-year-old can handle, making on his own when he's hungry. He made himself a peanut butter wrap the other day by himself. Just trying to come up with some more ideas of things that he can do. That way we don't really have to stop all of the fun that's going on outside. But yeah, figuring that out. Today, let's start with, so this is going to be watching, reading, listening. Let's start with what we are watching. So Dalton and I collectively together, there's not a ton of shows that we watch together in the past. So we have always watched Marvel together. That's been one thing that from the get-go, we grew up in the prime Marvel time. I just feel with all of the good movies and things like that. And so we are excited for the new Spider-Man movie coming out. That's something that we're looking forward to because it's been a while since we've had a good, we used to go to the movie theater premieres all the time. That used to be a big thing. And then after Endgame, it kind of just wasn't so great anymore. After Iron Man left and Captain America left, it was just kind of meh. But we're big Spider-Man fans. So, and now that our kids are kind of older, our girls are older, at least they watch some of that stuff too. So that's fun that they get to kind of join on that with us. We've also watched all of Friends together. So sometimes when that's on, we haven't watched that in a really long time, but sometimes when that's on, we've watched Shark Tank together. That's one, like, especially in the winter. We've watched Heartland together. That is a really good family friendly TV show. I highly recommend Heartland to anybody who's just like looking for, yeah, a new thing. We've watched The Ranch, not as appropriate, but kind of funny. The Big Bang Theory, that's always a good classic funny. And recently, like last year, everybody was all, I mean, anywhere you looked, it was all about Yellowstone, Yellowstone, Yellowstone. So we're like, okay, let's figure out what this Yellowstone thing is. And the first like season, I was like, okay, I kind of get it. I get it was a little different than I thought it was going to be. I didn't know it was going to be quite as adult as it was. Not that I thought it was going to be a kid show, but I thought it was just going to be like, I thought it was kind of going to be like Heartland was a little more gruff, but it's like way past that. And then in later episodes, it just got weird. It just got dark. It just got nasty. It just got like, it doesn't make any sense. I was really hoping, like, okay, there's going to probably be a lot of spoiler alerts in this episode because I'm just chatting. I was really hoping, like, at the beginning of the series, Beth is like this hardcore, like, woman with her walls up and like doesn't let anybody in and just so like bad. And I really thought that, like, over the course of the series, like especially as she like gets into her relationship and whatever, I thought that she would like start to like soften, and I thought that she would start to like kind of turn her ways and turn her views to be a little more like family oriented instead of so like selfish and so however hardcore and however she is. But it just got worse. It just got worse. And then there was more like killings, and there was, I don't know, it was like sick, nasty stuff. And then the whole thing with like the brother, that, yeah, I don't know. It's just, but like it was one of those things that we were so like, once you're invested, it's almost like we gotta just watch it through. So we are thinking, well, no, we are. Dutton Ranch is now a thing, and I'm just like, if it's anything like Yellowstone, like I don't want to watch it. So I'm like, if anybody's watching, they're like, yeah, give it a try. So I really liked Casey. And so when we found out the show Marshalls, if anyone's heard of that, that was skeptical of watching too, just because it is a spinoff of Yellowstone. I was like, oh, it's going to be so hardcore, gross, whatever. Um, I think we're almost caught up on Marshalls. I think we have one episode or two to get caught up. But so far, we've really liked Marshalls. I like that show way better than Yellowstone. It's not nearly as nasty, gross, self-centered. It's a little more like, not mysterious. That's not the word, but it's like about, like, they're marshals. So it's like more about like the law and more about them like solving cases and like a little more like detective type stuff. And so like I like that better. I mean, there's still a little bit of ranching, a little bit of like that feel, but it's not, so far it's not anything like Yellowstone, and I really hope they stay clear and away from that because that's just, I don't know, it was bad. It was really bad. And so I'm sorry to all the Yellowstone fans out there, but I just thought it got worse and worse and worse as the seasons went on. Number one, this winter when we were at the apartment, especially the girls and I watched Dancing with the Stars. We got into that. And it's like one of those like game shows where like once you start watching the first one, like you got to keep going because you got to know who wins because it's like a game show, right? And so we really enjoyed Dancing with the Stars. There's like a spin-off Dancing with the Stars coming up here in July. So like we're for sure gonna watch that. And then when my oldest was 12, 11 or 12, I think 11, we started watching Gilmore Girls. Gilmore Girls is my favorite show in the entire world. There is not a show that is better than Gilmore Girls that you can just watch on repeat, and it just gets funnier and funnier and funnier as the day goes on. And something else weird. I shouldn't say weird. Something different that the girls and I have been watching. So I just heard my sister talking that she was watching this, and I was like, you know what? I saw it on our YouTube TV, so I was like, girls, let's see what this is all about. And we started watching Farmer Wants a Wife. So it's basically like a twist on The Bachelor, except it's farmers. And I thought it was going to be like our typical farmers, but I forget that farming in other parts of the country are not always the same. So it's these three farmers that they all like had their profile or whatever, and then like I don't know how many girls came right away, like 10 girls for each one. And so like then they narrowed it down to like 5 or 6 that they got to bring back to their farm, so it's actually on their property. And then they kind of just narrow it down for there. So it shows like instead of just one person being the bachelor, it's 3 different farmers. And we're almost done with it, but I'm like it's way cheesier. Like the girls are doing farm work in their high heels. Like nobody's dressed appropriately ever for the jobs that they're doing. And it's like a lot of these girls like have never been on a farm before. And I'm like, why'd you come on this show? I mean, a couple of them seem legit, but anyway, it's just kind of a corny, cheesy version of The Bachelor. But it's like one of those things. Another thing that we watched, like Dancing with the Stars. It's like after you've picked your person that you're like, I want them to win, you like just have to follow through and keep watching. Like I used to watch The Bachelor all the time and The Bachelorette and just game shows like that. I hear the not really a game show, but the other like reality TV show, is it called Traders? I heard I need to watch that. Like kind of one of those shows they just suck you in right away, even if it's not a good show. You like pick your people that you think are like gonna win, and you just like I don't know. That's what like pulls you back the next week to keep watching is because you want to know how your people that you've chosen are doing. So that's pretty much what we've been watching. Now what I've been reading. Let's go to reading. I need to I've had some really not so good books and some really good books going on the last couple. Some of my like just authors that I'm just kind of always reading. Um some writers that are kind of like rom-com romance type books. Emily Henry, although the last one I just read of hers was not good. I only gave it a 1 star. But her book People We Meet on Vacation was a popular one and actually turned into a show. A lot of the books now, of course, are turning into a show. So Emily Henry is on my list quite a bit. Lynn Painter, another one, very similar. You can tell that I have a type, very rom-com-y. My favorite author of all time is Karen Kingsbury, but she hasn't come out with new books too recent. And then Jenny Han with the whole Summer I Turned Pretty series, which, is very much a typical love triangle, yada yada teenage drama. I read it because I usually read the books that my teenage daughter reads just because why not? And I teach middle school, so I kind of like to know like what's new, what's like the thing, what's the thing that everybody's into. Like I want to read it, I want to know about it. It would be very much similar to like all of us who read Twilight. Although it's not about vampires, it's just about teenage girl in the summer. Another person that I read often, Sarah Adams. I like her books. They're very fast, quick, easy to read through. I don't know. I think they're fun. Um, the Inheritance Games is kind of like a mix. The Inheritance Games is kind of like a mix between, I don't even know. Like, I think of Divergent, but not so intense. Like, very mind gamey. I don't know. I just think of like puzzles and clues, and then there's like a love triangle business in that, whatever. But it's like, yeah, it's it's basically another one that was a craze in the teenage world, and apparently it's like split off into different series. It's kind of one of those series that just keeps going on and on forever, and it probably needs to stop. But I really like the first one. It's just all about it's called the Inheritance Games because this girl inherits all this money to and a whole estate, a whole legacy, basically. Millionaire, maybe a billionaire, I don't know, to a guy that she has no idea who she is. So the whole book is like her trying to figure out how am I connected to the person that gave me all this money type of deal. So, and it actually gets better. I think the first 3 books are both pretty good. I tried Fourth Wing. Is it the Fourth Wing series? I can't. And I also tried is it called A Crown of Rose and Thorns? Roses and Thorns, something like that. I tried both of those and I cannot get into I can't get into I'm not a fantasy person. I read all of the Harry Potter books just because again, my daughter was reading them, but like once we are getting into romances and then all of a sudden there's dragons and creatures involved, like I'm out. Like I just no, I can't do it. I did read was his Fourth Wing the first one or is Iron Flame the first one? I think Fourth Wing is the first one. I did read the entire thing and I was like, you know what? If they would have narrowed it down by 100 pages and kind of cut some things out, I could see it. Like I'm like, okay, I understand. Fourth Wing is very much the combination of Hunger Games, Divergent, and Harry Potter. Like it's like World War where everybody's against each other and everybody has like their group, kind of like Divergent where everyone has their groups and their teams and they're fighting and they're in training, similar to like Divergent is, but then it's also like Harry Potter because there's like dragons involved and we're all partnered with a dragon type of deal. I don't know. And I just like I started reading the second one. It's like a million pages long and I was like I cannot get into this. This just keeps going on and on forever. Like I'm not having it. I'm not having it. Books that I thought that were going to be similar were by K.L. Walther, The Summer of Broken Rules, and What Happens After Midnight. And I gave both of those a 1 star. I don't know. I thought that they were going to be very similar to, I don't know, some other like rom com type books that I read. No, I couldn't get into that. I had a few memoirs sprinkled in there as of late in Katherine Center. So Katherine Center, Lynn Painter, Emily Henry, very rom-commy. It just like the level of maturity is gonna be different for all of those. I would say Sarah Adams and Casey West are probably the most easy to read. Lynn Painter and Emily Henry kind of have a little more like matureness about them. So if you're gonna have your kids read books like that, I love following book series that have or not book series. I love following people online who rate books and will give you like a spiciness level. They'll even tell you like the pages like that you can skip in order to like make it like more kid appropriate, more young adult appropriate, and they'll even like tell you specifically one thing. If I think I've told this to you guys before, but one thing, if you are a parent, for especially since today we're talking about TV shows and movies and books and things, Common Sense Media is a great thing, great resource to use. So like you can look up books, movies, things like that on Common Sense Media and it'll give you a rating from what most kids say and what parents say on like who should watch this. Like should a kid be age 11? Should they be 13? Is this something more for a 16-year-old? Like what is it? And then it rates specifically things that are wrong. So it rates like language usage. It rates like positive role models. It rates violence. It rates drug and alcohol use. It rates all of these different categories by stars. And then if you click and read on them, it will tell you exactly what that book had. Like if like language is a 3 out of 5, which would be like kind of high, it will tell you exactly why. Like what words and what phrases are specific and how much. Like it'll be like frequent use of the word blank. So if like you're ever going to send your kid to a movie or they're asking to read a book or whatever, you can kind of just look. I mean, it's, you won't know until you actually watch or read it yourself, but it gives you kind of like good idea what's going on. So, what's on my Kindle right now that I'm reading? I just finished Remarkably Bright Creatures as suggested by my sister-in-law, which is also a Netflix show. Apparently, I need to watch. The only downfall about that book is for some reason I could not get invested into it until I was already like 65% the way through. And then after that, it was fabulous. So I was like, I don't know if it was the book in general. That's why I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars because I'm like, I don't know if this is actually the book's fault or if it's my fault that I never just like gave it enough time to what it needed. Right right now, the 3 books that I have in my queue on my Kindle ready to read right now, I'm reading In Your Dreams by Sarah Adams. I don't know if it's the last book. She has an When in Rome series. It's like this series of all of these siblings and their stories in Rome, Kentucky. Very rom-com. Then I have The Grandest Game, which is a spin-off series of the Inheritance games. That's been on my list for a long time. And then I have The Love Haters by Katherine Center. I think I already said her name before, another like rom-com type author. But then I have several books that are in my need to read. I am not a huge fan of nonfiction. I read for fun. I don't read to learn really anymore. After I was done being in my master's courses, I was like, I just want to read for fun from now on. So if we get into what I am listening to, that also applies there too. I know that there are a million podcasts that would probably be good for me where I would learn so much stuff, but I turn on podcasts when I'm in the car and I turn on podcasts when I am driving. And I'm just like, I just want to listen to something for fun, just for fun. So, some of the things that I'm always listening to, pretty much every week, is one of my favorites right now. I'm sorry, but their brand is just rocking it. Almost Athletes is a Dude Perfect podcast. And I don't know a darn lick about sports in general, but they give me just enough where it's like they do a sports recap every single week because that's their thing. They love sports, right? Almost Athletes, Dude Perfect, love sports. They interview different people and then they play like fun games during their interviews. I don't know. It's very entertaining for a person that does not watch sports or does not like sports. But like even though like in one last episode they rated like stadium foods or like just they're always doing fun wacky stuff. But I am a full supporter of them. I'm a full supporter of their brand and their cause and what they're doing and how they're providing good content out there for us and my kids. And so, Almost Athletes, that's probably my top one right now that I listen to every single week, and I have not missed one yet because I don't know, they make me want to be invested in sports, and I think it's great. Other ones that I listen to pretty much regularly, the Unplanned podcast and Always Here are both with Abby Howard and then Matt Howard, her husband. They're just very, I don't know, fun, light, sometimes funny. Sometimes they have some very interesting guests on their podcast, so I listen to those. Um, so yeah, some podcasts because I've watched their TV shows growing up. The Ginger and Jeremy podcast. She's one of the Duggar girls. They had a TV show forever. She's had some very interesting guests on her podcast talking about a lot of different things, talking about um she's written books, so a lot of things are just about like her life and the show even. And then the Roloffs, um Audrey and Jeremy, as well as Tori and Zach. They both have podcasts, have taken breaks on them, but just because I've watched those shows growing up and I just think it's fun to listen. And again, they're very real and very honest about like how things actually are and how things were like on television and things like that. Speaking of television, any TV show that I watch, I also check to see if there is a podcast that recaps it because I think that that is so fun. So I started with I Am All In podcast, which is a recap on Gilmore Girls done by Luke himself. And so they had like their first season where they recapped every single episode. And then now they're going through it again. They're recapping again. But then also there's like these side podcasts where it's like they'll talk about like pop culture in the episode. So they will only just like talk about like all of the phrases that they use in Gilmore Girls or the fashion or like what are the actors doing now or what's new in some of the other TV shows that they're in. Like they have all these like spin-off episodes about all of these different things revolving around the Gilmore Girls and the Gilmore Girls cast. That's my favorite show of like all time. So I'm all about that. Also, I watched Full House growing up, and there is the podcast How Rude Tanneritos, where they recap Full House and Fuller House. It's with the characters Stephanie and Kimmy, and that's just very fun. just because I grew up watching that and it feels nostalgic. And then for a while there, I listened to Drama Queens, which is the One Tree Hill. I was into One Tree Hill for a while. I never actually finished that one, but it was fine. Some random podcast that I sprinkle in through there, Two Parents and a Podcast once in a while. I'll throw that into there. My friend McKenzie has Meaningful McKenzie. I listen to that pretty much every week. Sometimes I have to binge her episodes to catch up, but I usually do. Highly Unlikely with Josh and Janae. That is a Christian podcast, but and then let's see what else. Couple things with Shawn and Andrew. So she was a former gymnast, as everyone knows, former Olympian. He was a former football player. They do a lot of things. They have a lot. They have a good brand also. Like go support them. Go follow them on social media. They've got a lot of different things going on. Then there's also the Carpool. I haven't listened to that a lot. It's still on my list though. Sounds like it's very fun. Some podcasts that I never thought I would be into, but I don't know why I started. Probably because I was just looking for a Taylor Swift something at one point when I was going to go to her concerts. But I started listening to the Kelce Brothers podcast. Every once in a while, I sprinkle them in because Jason Kelce is probably one of the funniest human beings I've ever listened to in my entire life. Not appropriate. Like, just so you know, like that I will not watch that with kids around, but also learn a lot about sports for a person who knows nothing about sports. But he's just funny. He's just funny and he's ridiculous and you can tell he doesn't put on a show. Like he's 100% him, which that got me connected to Kelsey's podcast, which is called Not Gonna Lie. She has some very interesting guests and she's very real life. Again, not appropriate, but like she's very real and very like some of the people that she gets to interview, I think is really cool. Another person who has really cool podcast or really cool guests, Call Her Daddy, has a like pretty much has interviewed everybody under the sun. So if you have like I don't know music artists that you like to listen to, or even TV shows that you watch, actors, actresses, kind of like more famous people in the world, if you want to like really hear their stories and like really hear like what's what the kind of like what the truth is. Like, we only get to see so much and it's I don't know, I think it's kind of fun to like look into all that kind of stuff. Um Life's a Trip is a family that their Trip Tripp is their like family name. They like moved away from the United States to go like start a life in Puerto Rico, I think, and they lived in Hawaii. They've gone through seasons of like homeschooling where they just like pick up their family and they go move an island life and just kind of she has some causes that she's really passionate about. I think she was a nurse at one point, so she's just got a lot of likes to teach a lot of things about kids and all just kind of different stuff. So I've listened to them, and then I also have a couple people that I listen to just for photography purposes. I more follow them on YouTube though, just because I like to see and watch a lot of the things that they have going on. Not necessarily just podcasting. Um, but yeah, that's pretty. Oh, the Dwell, I think it's called the Weekly Dwell. That's one of my photographer, Caitlin James. I follow her. I don't know if has it weekly anymore. She might have been taking, I think it's also called Doing Life Differently. I think that's another name she uses. I know she's changed the name because it used to be just photography and now it's more like life based because she's been dealing with a lot of stuff and she's been opening a school and doing all of these cool things. So, again, I don't love to listen to things just to learn. I'm more of a like background noise. I want something that's going to make me just smile and very chill. Something that feels good, something that's warm and fuzzy once in a while. I used to listen to the Heart and Hustle podcast. That was very business like, especially like photographer like, but they also sprinkled in like mom life and things like that. They are now, I shouldn't say retired because they're not retired, but they have now backed away from their podcast. They're just doing the mom life, which is totally fine. But they were one that I listened to almost weekly while they were doing their thing. So yeah, that's pretty much just like a recap of what I have been watching, what I've been reading, and what I've been listening to. If anyone has any good suggestions for me, I'm after this round of books, I think I'm going to dive into some of my sister's favorite books, which a little more on the thriller side than what I actually like. She's read a couple of mine, so now it's my turn. I need to read a couple of hers. But if anyone has any other podcasts, books, shows that you're like, go give it a try. I would really like to listen to a Friends recap. I don't think I've ever found one yet. So if you know of any other fun TV shows or even like a Big Bang Theory rewatch or something, I don't know. I just think that's fun. Old shows that I used to watch, listening to the recaps on them, I think is fun. So I'll take any and all suggestions, and I hope everybody has a great week.